Well, good evening, everyone. So it's 7:30, so we'll go ahead and start, because in Zen we try to start on time. And I want to welcome you all. My name, for those of you who might not know me, is Tenzin David Zimmerman. I'm the Central Abbot of San Francisco Zen Center. And it's a joy to be here. Can you hear? Is this being microphone? Yeah, there. It's up a little higher. Okay. Is this recording or microphoning?
That's only for the online participants.
Only for the online. So we have to speak loudly. We have to speak loudly. So, okay, good to know. So it's a great pleasure to be able to have both Sensei Kazuaki Tanahashi here and Mitsue Nagase with us tonight and share their learnings, your process, as well as your teachings that came from your recent project. I don't have the book. If you hold it up for me, be able to show it. It's Gardens of Awakening, a guide to aesthetics, history, and spirituality of Kyoto Zen landscapes. And the photographs are by Mitsue. And so that's the object of the exhibition that you see here, and say a little bit more about those. And this exhibition will go through tomorrow afternoon. And then the text by Kaz. And for those of you who would be interested in purchasing a book after the event, in the back, Denise, maybe you'll stand. There's Denise. Denise will be making the books available, and both Kaz and Mitsue will be signing the book, so you have a chance to get signed copies to take with you. And before we go further, I'd like to just offer very brief introductions to both of our presenters this evening. Mitsue Nagase was born and raised in Japan and spent some of her adult years in Vancouver, New York, and California. We actually met each other at Tassajara, and where she began her Zen practice. And then later, after meeting Kaz, she decided to deepen her practice at Upaya Zen Center, and where she lived for over a year and received Jukai, the precepts, Bodhisattva precepts, from Roshi Joan Halifax. And Mitsue's Dharma name is Hoetsu, Joy of Dharma. It's a beautiful name, Joy of Dharma. And she presently resides in Japan on the island of Honshu on the northwest side. And I believe she'll speak a little bit more about that. And she is preparing herself to serve as a bridge between Japan and the West. So thank you again. It's a joy to have you back here visiting once more. And then Kazuaki Tanahashi, who we all know as Kaz. It's been a warm and a very important presence for many, many years at all three temples of San Francisco Zen Center. Kaz met Suzuki Roshi in 1964. So I was only a year old in 1964. So that was just a little while ago, not too long ago. And he is an accomplished Japanese calligrapher, a Zen teacher, and a prolific author and translator of Buddhist texts from Japanese and Chinese to English, and most notably the various works of Dogen. He has co-edited and contributed to various Zen Buddhist texts with other Zen teachers, and then also an environmentalist and a peace worker. 8 months ago, his birthday might have deserved an especially warm celebration. We had a particular celebration for him at Green Gulch Farm where he turned 90 years old. So still very much a spring chicken as of October 4th. So welcome, Kaz. It's such a joy to have you back once more. And so without further ado, I want to welcome you all to this nourishing time together with these two wonderful people. The thought was to try to wrap this up around 8:10, and so there's a bit of time to mingle and also have the book signed and to continue some informal conversation, but let's just see how it unfolds. So thank you again all for being here and celebrating these two wonderful artists. So thank you both. Let me give this back to you so you can.
Okay. So thank you, David, for the full introduction. And then it's such an honor for me to be here at San Francisco Zen Center, where I started my Zen practice after living in New York. It really changed my life. And then, without, each meetings, I won't be here. And especially with Kazu's inspiration and guidance over years, I'm very stunned that I'm here with this beautiful done book and with this photographs on the wall at the city center with friends and then teachers, just looking at me and speaking. So yeah, thank you so much. With those, all the circumstances brought me here. So yeah, so thank you. So I'm here to talk a little bit, before Kaz talks about, Zen aesthetics through the Zen garden. I wanted to talk about my personal experience about, taking photograph of this wonderful Zen gardens. So for me, it was very much of a challenge because for me, it is difficult to sit one place or just take time to calm my mind. And then I think that's why I like to take photographs because, I know each moment is very, very precious, but also some places so photographed so many times, I have my idea about, how it should look. So it was particularly challenging for me to have a personal connection to the stones and to the leaf and then what was going on. And actually, my husband, Bernd, who is standing right here, really encouraged me to take time because during the time that I was photographing, these images appear in this book and then appear on the wall today. It took 2 years, but it happened to be during the pandemic. So I was very lucky to have the temple gardens, just for ourselves and to really take in a quiet environment. But I still find myself, in a very agitated mindset that I will look at things and I think, oh, okay, so that's enough, and then move on, and so on and so forth. But, he would encourage me to sit at one place and then just take time, sit for 20 minutes, half an hour, or even longer. And then after the maybe second visit or so, at the same temple, I realized that, I cultivated some kind of intimacy to the place, and then I also noticed subtle difference of the light, and then maybe it was the light was season, but also it was reflection of myself. So it was almost like a very good practice for me to really face the Zen gardens, and then we would visit the same temples, many times. And at that time, we were living in Kyoto, and we would bicycle to the temples and, go in. Nobody was there, but the temple gate was open, so we will go and then take some time, and then sometime take photographs. But intentionally, I didn't pick up my camera and just stay there, and something will kind of come. And then when I felt there was something happening, I would take pictures. So there are pictures from my personal experience in this book, and some you see it on the walls. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy looking at each images, and then I hope that it conveys the rich experience that I had at that moment in the particular day, at that particular stage of my mind, and then feel a connection. Yeah. And then among those photographs, there's one photograph that I selected. It's by the father, and on the right hand side over there, there's a picture of kind of destruction, many broken pieces of those roof tiles or a piece of wood from the house, but yet there is a branch of plum flower, and the light is just hitting there. So that was taken in where we live now in Noto Peninsula, which the massive earthquake hit on January 1st. But I think that the experience from this taking this Zen gardens kind of prepared me to really face, what was in front of me, to quiet my mind and then really take in. Sometimes it's a beauty, and sometimes it's a kind of distraction. But to each moment to have a very intimate, strong connection to each moment. And then I wanted to say a heartfelt gratitude to Frank, who is here, for him to embark a project to support us, both of us, Bernd and I, to come here. We have been dealing with many obstacles, since January 1st, and then we were not able to make our decision whether if we can be here today or not until end of March. And Kaz was very patient to just wait, and then. But I'm very happy to be here and then shared our experience, or my experience, and then experience of working with Kaz, and then present this book just released, and then this is my first book published, and then so much joy and enriching moment, and I hope that this will be passed on to you through this book. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mitsue.
Yep.
It's nice to come back to Zen Center. I moved to San Francisco from Japan in 1977 to serve as a scholar in residence, and which I did for 7 years. And we started translating Zen Master Dogen's work with some of the advanced practitioners here. And so altogether I have like 33 partners. And then I worked for 7 years here, met Linda here, and then my kind of life again changed too, and then everything changed. And then, so I moved when I was 44 years old. So I've been here in the United States since then. So more than half of the year I'm in the United States. And our daughter was born nearby. And so like to be back here. And also San Francisco Zen Center supported this Dogen project for 33 years for just one project, one big book. But I deeply appreciate that. Now kind of Dogen is kind of being appreciated and read and studied all over the world. And so that was a vision of officers, abbots, everybody from the Zen Center, and I deeply appreciate that. So this book is an inside view of Zen gardens. So I think most other books kind of focus on the outside beauties of the gardens, but here we start from the state of meditation, so you all experience, you are familiar with, and then evolution of Zen gardens in Japan, and also the unique aesthetics of Zen art. So that is maybe unique way of doing that. In terms of history, I think the most important kind of garden architect is Musou Soseki, 13th to 14th century Rinzai school master. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Some people want you to speak louder.
Okay. So he was probably the most important Rinzai school master. He was the first master who was given the title of national teacher when he was alive. Two other emperors gave him the titles, and then four other emperors after his death gave him. So he had 7 national teacher titles, regarded as the teacher of 7 emperors. But his garden, in the history of Zen gardens, is most important. He was designing the garden of Saihoji. It's here. So it's now covered by moss all over. So it's called Kokedera, or moss garden, moss temple. But that time, his time, there was no moss actually. In the 18th century, kind of someone planted moss of all types there. But anyway, in the Zen gardens, waterfalls is very important because a legend says that carp goes up on the waterfall and then becomes a dragon. So that's a metaphor for an ordinary meditation practitioner to become an outstanding one. So dragon means an outstanding practitioner. But there was no high hill nearby, so it was impossible to build a waterfall. Then he had a breakthrough idea of building a dry waterfall, dry, with white sand as a water stream and the stones. So actually here is the maybe historical place actually. There are some stones and then there used to be white sand. And that really inspired other rock gardens, like gardens in Ryoanji Temple, the most important, very abstract, kind of empty garden in a way. There's no flowers, no streams, no stepping stones, nobody's walking. So real minimalist, abstract garden, Ryoanji. Yeah. You have Ryoanji somewhere, right? Yeah, there too. Yeah, there. Mm. Yeah. In terms of aesthetics, often, well, before that, about 55 years ago, I kind of thought about 7 qualities of Zen art, not only gardens, but Zen art. And before that, there was Shinichi Somatsu's book, Zen and the Fine Art, kind of talks about the 7 qualities, including asymmetric, naturalness, unworldliness, serenity, I think. I wanted to find terms that are often used in Zen literature, and then, in a way, from inside Zen terms, find these 7 characteristics. So these are the 7 characteristics, right? The first one is direct, then ordinary, vigorous, gleaning, pivotal, non-dual, inexhaustible. So I'd like to talk a little bit about this from this book. The first one is direct, and so in Zen, I think, English terms are limited because it has its own kind of range of meanings and associations, but it came from maybe Chinese and Japanese Zen terms. So I need to explain it more. And to do that, photographs are very, very instrumental. And also some words from ancient Zen masters or Zen artists. So I like to read something. So direct in Zen means there is nothing in between, no intermediary things like intellect or thinking explanations, words. Just you look at the stone and you experience directly. So Dogen says, when you paint spring, do not paint willows, plums, peaches, or apricots. Just paint spring. So you can see that how can you paint spring? You have to struggle. You have to find our own way to kind of express something direct, maybe from our own experience, state of mind. So that's first quality. So maybe you can say there's something very direct about, look at the stone, and then there's some experience with maybe beyond words, in a way. So, and I think every maybe photograph or whatever you see in Zen gardens, actually you see 7 qualities, but some of them maybe it's a little bit more distinct. So that is why we did 7 paintings, right, for each quality, so that maybe people get some ideas. Especially, I think we use the details, right? And then also on the facing page, we show them more like environment. The second quality is ordinary. Again, kind of ordinary is has its own meaning in English, but not kind of trying to stand out, it's just kind of be there. So that's maybe ordinary. Sudumpo, the Song Dynasty poet, says, plainness, to be plain, is the extreme end of brilliance. So, like, rice is plain, like tofu is plain. But I said, Japanese people like plain taste. So rice, so you can have it every day in a way. So that's kind of, that's one quality. And then vigorous again, so there's even the stone is sort of, you can see something, experience dynamism, right? Something, I mean, in terms of the environment, the relationship, you can see. Women said, the East Mountain travels on water, so the mountain is moving. Actually, this character is on the sign, wooden sign, horizontal sign in the, I think, Buddha Hall of the Ginkakuji temple, silver pavilion temple. You know. And then that's very appropriate because Ginkakuji is in the East Mountain, and then the culture that developed is called East Mountain culture. So tea ceremony, and then some paintings and no play, some very subtle. Before that, it was more like a kinkakuji, you know, golden pavilion. Yes, so it's very brilliant, very kind of gorgeous, large scale. Yeah, that's North Mountain, North Mountain culture. It was maybe the beginning of this, maybe Zen art and culture developed that time. Yeah. The next one is gleaming. So that's, well, these translations actually, my wife Linda, who is here, she helped me. Before that, it was more closer to the original Chinese or Japanese, but maybe it doesn't really convey the meaning more fully. So Linda helped me. Thank you, Linda. So it's like maybe not bright, like maybe Zendo is a little bit dark, so we can see ourselves better. So tea ceremony, tea room is also not to be dark, so that's very important to really enjoy the beauty of the utensils, tea bowls, and everything, and then the host movement and conversations, kind of more kind of serene, subdued environment. So that's it. Like Jeremy, the no play master and then dramaturgist, says, those who have mastered blossoming in no performance know about wilting. Thus, wilting is above blossoming. So blossoming is beautiful for everybody. You can see the beauty, dance and everything. But kind of wilting, there's some beauty, you know. And pivotal. So I signed the books. Actually, it means great function. But that great function means when we see some scrolls in the tea room, oh, there's some writing, and we appreciate it, but maybe we just don't think about it, or some tea bowl with some cracks, or some small amount of flowers, a few flowers kind of in the tea room and so forth. Anything you see, maybe that can change our consciousness, our aesthetics, or our life. So that's a great function. Like maybe in Zen there's turning word, changing people's life. So that is great function. That is pivotal. And non-dual. Yeah, Mitsue was talking about non-dual. Of course, experience of non-duality is wisdom beyond wisdom, right? So in Mahayana Buddhism, prajna paramita. So prajna is wisdom beyond wisdom, to see all things as one. Paramita can be realizing. So the Heart Sutra can be translated as the heart of realizing wisdom beyond wisdom. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to see and to go beyond the maybe opposition of maybe stone and sand, or movement and not movement. So that is that is non-duality. Shito says, in darkness, all words are one. In brightness, phrases are murky or clear. This is Sandokai, right? This is actually the place where Musou Soseki kind of lived in his final time. And then he passed away, and actually he is buried underneath, in this particular building. Okay. And then this is a very powerful stone garden, large, and then only sand and the stones. And then actually created by a female Sumie painter, contemporary 20th century. So very, very nice. Yeah. Finally, inexhaustible. So there is no limit. So like even small tea garden, you see mountains and then oceans and then some immeasurable. So the third ancestor, Senchan, said, extremely small is extremely large. Extremely large is extremely small. Right? So, not only Zen, but in Buddhism is very rich on symbolism. And then, for example, maybe the moon, when we say moon, that is full moon, and that is enlightenment. Then lotus is kind of purity and then beauty and wholeness. And then dewdrop is like a transcendency of life. And so many kind of symbolism. And then the temple names have so much poetry and then symbolism. Names of gardens, the gate, streams, bridges, pond. These all have very poetic and symbolic names. So that's kind of Zen symbolism. And also maybe I'd like to finally talk about the uniqueness of Zen school compared with other schools of Buddhism. That is kind of real, maybe you can say maybe daily use of paradoxes. So, like someone said, what is the meaning of Bodhidharma coming from India? Jiao Jiao said, cypress tree in the garden. Doesn't make sense, right? So people try to kind of meditate and try to figure out going beyond the intellectual dualistic understanding and then try to experience his essential teaching. So that became koan, and then studying koan and then sort of experiencing became often more important than studying scriptures in Zen. So often, like, following the very formatted, rigorous practice, daily schedules, everything, try to experience ultimate freedom. So that's kind of not just kind of doing whatever we want to do, but do something kind of completely in following forms. And then also you can see in a small place, you can see something large. So everything is paradoxical. That is maybe our life too, I guess. Thank you so much.
So I think my understanding is we have some time. Thank you. So we have some time for, of course, the book signing and so on, but I'm wondering if there's any questions or anything you'd like to ask Kaz or Mitsue regarding their process, the book itself, and or any of the images that you see here. And I'll ask you to speak into this so we can be sure to capture your questions. Anything you'd like to say or ask?
Wait, which end do I speak in?
You
Or
can just speak, yeah.
Just speak. I'm just going to speak. Thank you so much. It was so beautiful. I love the book. It's, as usual, filled with your exquisite understanding, Kaz, and I look forward to reading it. And since I had the good fortune to travel with Mitsue last November in Japan, I am somewhat familiar with her photo snapping mind. And I did know that this book was coming, and but even sitting and listening to you, I get a better understanding of that process that you had of sitting quietly in those gardens, some of which I, had the pleasure of seeing with you and with Bernd. And I knew that this was during the pandemic, and I somehow now feel even more, though I knew this, even more looking at the book and looking at these images, I feel the influence of that event on the images, just if only by virtue of the fact that the gardens were empty. And now I guess my question after all that is really, I wonder, knowing what you and Bernd went through on the Noto Peninsula with the earthquake, were you taking photographs? You did?
Yes, I did. Yes. So, and then in a way, it really anchored me. So because, oh, thank you. So, yeah, thank you for the comment. It really anchored me to really to meet the moment, and then at the moment, it's very pure and experience, and it's beyond anything. And then I think that as a practitioners, I think we all kind of have the moment of, okay, it's beyond your adding meaning of good or bad or anything like that, but it's just very direct. And then, so perhaps it is, as I said, seeing this garden, and then to see a very rich moment in the simplest thing, prepare me to see in the chaos some simple beauty, or very pure moment. So for that, it was very perhaps pivotal, to work on this book in many ways. So.
But Mitsue wrote a very beautiful article on the magazine called Noto, and then it's a special issue on the earthquakes. So it was very, very nice. And then her photographs and so forth. By the way, this book is dedicated to Bernd Schaeffer. So he's a kind of wonderful practitioner of temple-style vegetarian cooking. And so that Mitsue's kind of article is showing that, he and other people are cooking so many people, and then, in the kind of evacuation center, and then, so much service they were doing that, Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. So this is a question for Mitsue. When you were sitting contemplating what photograph you wanted to take of any particular garden, etc., did you take more than one photo and decide which one best represented or that you felt the most connected to? And did you have any other way that you recorded it other than through the photograph? Did you write something or have some other process that went along with that?
Yeah, thank you. So, as many friends who know me, I really take many pictures. So it was difficult to make a selection, but I think I really have to learn not to take pictures and then wait for the moment, because when I'm looking for something to take a picture, it doesn't happen often. But if my mind is much quieter, and then the thing happens, and then when I take that photograph, that is a very lasting moment, and I can go back to the experience. And then actually, I wrote an essay, or 2 pages essay in this book. I always felt that I'm not the person with the word. I feel very hesitant to talk about my experience, but that's why I do photography. But Kaz really encouraged me to write an essay. So he said, oh, so there's a part that I have to write. And then so I wrote one of my experience, very deep experience of start seeing something. So if you have a chance, I'd like you to read it. And then, a good friend of ours, Susan, already really helped me to really refine with the word. So and then that was a very, good experience that I could refer back to my experience and write in the word. It was challenging, but very rewarding. So thank you.
Maybe one more sharing. Any questions or anything else you'd like to bring forward?
Hello, thank you so much for your talk. I am wondering, for each of you, what drew you into doing this project versus maybe many other things?
I think, Mitsue has been kind of guiding, a guide to Japan pilgrimage organized by the Upaya Zen Center. Roshi, John Halifax, and I led the kind of pilgrimage every year. And then she's done how many times? Nine years. And then Bernd joined us one time, and then we sat somewhere in the garden, and then we were talking about it, and then I think Bernd said, okay, your kind of aesthetics is interesting, and then why don't you write a book? And then I said, okay, so, and then who is the photographer you really like? And then I said, why not Mitsue? So we started doing that. So thanks to Bernd, yeah.
Could I add something to what you just said? I'll just take a moment. This friendship and this relationship between Kaz and Mitsue goes back way farther than those pilgrimages with Roshi Joan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been our friend and you've been in our home for a long time. And I just want to add that your connection over your photography and your work and Zen is a deep one. And to encourage you, Kaz gave you the name Light, right? And to bring forth what you do with light, with your photography, even when your confidence wasn't so great. And I remember him sending messages to you, dear Light, right? So I would like to say that the genesis of this project that you've brought forth together is quite deep and goes back even farther than my dear husband was revealing.
Captured this line.
Any other secrets about
I have a question about Zen rock gardens. I know in Ryoanji, no matter where you stand in the garden, you can't see all the stones. Is that unique to Ryoanji, or are most Zen rock gardens like that where you can't see everything?
I don't know. I think you can see everything in Ryoanji.
Oh,
Don't you?
you cannot. Yeah, there's always one missing.
Really?
Yeah.
I never tried.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think.
Okay. Ryoanji is very unique because there's nothing else, just, sand and then stone and then moss around it. Other gardens have more elements. Yeah.
Maybe we're just wrap up now, so there's time to mingle and share more intimately. I just want to say I was in Japan at the end of April, and I was at the Golden Temple as well as Ryoanji. And when I was at the Golden Temple, there were 2,000 people there. So the amount of people around that area, and also many people at the other the garden. What Mitsue has captured so beautifully is the mind of Zazen, the stillness in all of these. You can just feel the presence and the stillness of each space. And that capacity, that ability to be able to capture that and offer that in these beautiful photographs is quite a gift. So thank you so much. So as you look at each of these, there's stillness and there's movement simultaneously, right? And to feel that presence coming through and to feel just the whole quality of the complete mind, the whole mind of practice in each of these, which, as you were speaking, I could hear you coming forth, the invitation by your husband to spend more time, be with it even more completely, more fully, has come through in these photographs again. So thank you both so much for your presence, for your generosity, for this beautiful gift. And thank you all for being here and celebrating this wonderful art and expression of practice. And please spend time, connect. Again, Denise will be available in the back if you would like to pick up a book and have it signed by these artists.
Maybe if you bring your book, we'll be happy to, sign
it.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Say again?
Prints on sale too.
Prints on sale. So ask Mitsue about the prints on sale. That's good. I didn't know about that.
Information is there. Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, some
Oh,
more
good,
details
right here.
there.
So here's more information if you're interested in buying the prints as well. So, okay, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
What a joy to have you here. Thank you everyone for your presence tonight. So, please enjoy.
ありがとうございます。